Well, what do we know about President Trump, apart from the fact that he's obviously gormless? He's not bright enough to realise he's got to get his pimply backside out of the White House. And he's vindictive. So he's going to... most not very smart people are very vindictive. Now, if we go back to look at this is December the 13th, and this is news.com.au. Trump says he's pushing to declassify everything before leaving office. Now, this is just Trump being vindictive. He wants to piss everybody off by declassifying everything. Absolutely everything. So he's going to be declassifying the Roswell incident. He's going to be telling everybody that E.T. really is here. They crashed here in 1947. There's some sort of alien liaison has been going on since the 40s. He's going to declassify the fact that George Bush organised the 9/11 atrocity, and that free energy is real. They've known all there is to know about free energy for decades, and they're keeping it all a secret. They know that the Montauk project involved time and space travel. He's going to declassify that and tell all these, so all these people that have been pushing, Sverdlow and that other guy that have been pushing all this Montauk rubbish for decades are going to be proven right. John Hutchison was really, a defence contractor, and all this stuff is real. He's going to be declassifying all of this. What else is there to declassify? Oh yeah, the aliens have bases all over the Earth, on the Moon, and on Mars, and Antarctica is hollow, and it's full of alien spacecraft and dinosaurs, and cloned Hitlers. If you're a fan of Iron Sky 2. Now, if Trump is going to declassify everything. Oh yeah, and of course he's going to say that the NASA moon landings were all faked. It was all faked. He's going to declassify that. Now, if of course when he starts declassifying everything, there is no mention of Roswell. Or there's no mention of 9/11. No mention of Hutchison, free energy. What was it I just mentioned? Oh, the NASA moon landings, yeah. If there is no mention of any of that, then I think we can take it to the bank that it's all fiction. It's all conspiracy theorist claptrap. It's just drivel to give them something to do on a Sunday afternoon. Sit in front of a camera and relate these science fiction and general fiction stories. This ridiculous bloody rubbish, Johnston can sit there talking about cyborgs, we're all being replaced by cyborgs. Completely ridiculous, of course. What would be the point of that, exactly? If you got rid of the human race, what exactly are the cyborgs going to be doing? Absolute drivel. Black goo. Oh no, the black goo. Yeah, declassify the black goo. We've got sentient black goo. It's alien, and it's been here for decades, and it's controlling the Illuminati. Then they're carrying around leg bags full of black goo. Yeah, well, and Tesla's suppressed technology. He's going to declassify everything. All of Tesla's detailed Tesla's work, and free energy, and wireless transmission of energy, death rays, and all this sort of stuff. It's all going to be completely declassified. Okay, so let's wait with bated breath, and of course if none of that is declassified, I think we can put a line through it all as being science fiction or general fiction claptrap. Absolute drivel. Although actually there is one. I could actually be wrong about the aliens, though. I could be wrong about aliens. Let's just hand over to President Trump. Well, it seems Trump is so ticked off at being thrown out of the White House that he's going to declassify everything just to piss everybody off. He's going to declassify absolutely everything. And I was quite surprised, actually, when because I never really thought there was anything to this alien stuff and the Roswell stuff, but apparently Trump says otherwise. This is part of his declassification.
I actually heard the aliens are already here. They've been hiding in this country for hundreds of years. It's a fact. They're shapeshifters. They look like regular people, but they're aliens. Look, there's one right there.
I am not an alien.
Here she is, and so is the woman next to her, right there.
Oh, okay, no.
I am not an alien. Yeah, I think her facial expressions are great. I've seen her in other stuff, that woman. Now, this is something else. This is an Israeli general, is he? Or hang on, let's just get a bit of a grip on who this guy is. Israeli space official Haim Eshed. I knew his brother actually, Garden Eshed. Pictured on the cover of a new book called The Universe Beyond the Horizon. Now, he's written a book here, The Universe Beyond the Horizon. Presumably that's what that says. Not being overly familiar with Hebrew. Unlike the aliens, of course, because mankind has made contact with an alien galactic federation, but it has been kept secret because humanity isn't ready. Former head of Israel's space security program claims. Yeah, okay. Now, this is now what he's saying is that the alien, the Galactic Federation, has been in touch with Trump in America and in touch with the Israelis. So presumably that's him personally. He would have first-hand experience of this. I don't know whether that's what he says in his book, whether he claims to have been off-planet and actually sort of been to some of these meetings at the Galactic Federation. But it's the same old science fiction recurring themes, you know. Humanity isn't ready. It's been kept a secret because humanity isn't ready, you know. You can't, humanity has to evolve before the aliens will allow people like this fellow, wherever he's gone, to appear on TV with one, you know. So this guy would love to appear on 60 Minutes with an alien and have them both being interviewed on 60 Minutes, but mankind isn't ready. You know, it's the same old recurring theme. Now, this guy's 87 years old, so he could be getting a little dotty. Anyway, he was the head of Israel's space security program for nearly 30 years. He's a retired general. He described a so-called Galactic Federation, which supposedly runs an underground Mars base in secret pact with Washington. But the aliens had to intervene to stop Donald Trump when he appeared on the verge of blurting out their secrets. Yes. Yeah, I'm sure Donald Trump will be able to sit there and explain in detail exactly how the interstellar drive system for their spacecraft worked. Any alien recipes, possibly. Venusian on a stick. Venusian on a skewer with sesame seeds. He appeared on the verge of blurting out their secrets. And now let's hope this is something else that Trump's going to declassify. Remember, he's going to declassify everything. So we want to hear those alien secrets there, Donald. He told Israeli paper, you idiot, are on or not. Okay. So, and the 87-year-old Eshed said aliens will not come into the open until humanity can evolve and reach a stage where we will understand what space and spaceships are. Well, I would have thought that was pretty bloody obvious, you know. Space is the distance between the planets and the stars, and spaceships are vehicles to traverse those distances. That doesn't make very much sense at all, does it? But there's always got to be a reason why they won't interact. You know, he can't show us an alien. He can't show us any evidence of any aliens. He can't show us any pictures of any aliens that he's interacted with. He can't show us any pictures of their vehicles. because this has got Philip Corso written all over it, hasn't it? He's written a book, and it's going to be a science fiction yarn, just like Philip Corso's ridiculous bloody rubbish. He did not say how long the aliens have been hiding in the shadows, but said some of the supposed contacts had taken place during Trump's presidency. Yes, okay. Can you imagine flying across the galaxy to have a cup of tea with Trump? Really? Aliens. You guys must be from Mexico. How'd you get over my wall? Yeah, what's this? Oh, it's a different article, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, so speaking of an agreement between the US government and the alien visitors, the Shed said the extraterrestrials wanted to work with American agents to study the fabric of the universe. Well, realistically, do you think any aliens that are capable of travelling interstellar distances and certainly visiting here are going to need any information from us? And do you think we're going to be able to tell them anything about the fabric of the universe that they don't know? The aliens have asked not to announce that they're here because humanity is not ready yet. He told the Hebrew language newspaper, whatever that is, unpronounceable. Trump was on the verge of revealing, but the aliens in the Galactic Federation are saying, wait, let the people calm down first. Now, why would the people be jumping around in the first place? You've got to wonder. And if Trump was on the verge of disclosing, what were they? They're sitting in orbit on their spacecraft, are they? Or on the base on Mars. And he says, there's something I've got to tell you about aliens. We liaise with the best aliens, I can tell you that. And they got the best aliens, talking to the best president there's ever been. By the time he'd finished rambling, they'd probably have time to get here and stop him, come to think of it. So that's probably not that unrealistic. They don't want to start with mass hysteria. They want to first make us sane and understanding. So we're going to get visited by a bunch of interstellar psychologists. They're going to sit us down and they're going to want us to... They're going to want to have long chats about our childhoods. Presumably they'll have German accents. So they can say, okay, Earthlings, I think it's time we had a long chat about your childhood, yeah? And they will, of course, be adjusting their interstellar bow ties. Until that point, he said, the aliens have secured an agreement to keep their movements secret. Now, personally, I don't think I want to be watching any aliens' movements. Although, no doubt there's a place for that on the internet somewhere. And is it Paul Hellyer, the Canadian Defence Minister, or he was 50-odd years ago? He's saying he knows this guy's right. He doesn't doubt it for a minute. I don't know if I can find an article from Hellyer. I might, actually. But, of course, this is just his opinion. You know, he says, alien spacecraft are as real as the aircraft above your head. That's Hellyer. But he doesn't produce any evidence to that effect. He doesn't show us any pictures. He doesn't hold up an ashtray from an alien spacecraft, a windscreen wiper from an alien spacecraft, a towel is stolen from an alien spacecraft on his many visits to these other planets with these people. So I'm afraid I'm going to have to call a claptrap on that. And this, I would say, is complete and utter drivel. It makes no sense whatsoever. It's regurgitating science fiction themes from decades ago. We've got to grow up. Humanity's not ready. There'll be mass panic. Absolute bloody rubbish, nonsense. Galactic Federation. Well, there's a United Federation of Planets in Star Trek, and if you sort of think about it logically, if there really are lots of intelligent species out there, and those intelligent species can travel around the galaxy on a willy-nilly basis, it does make sense to have a Galactic Federation. it makes sense to have a body made up of representatives from all species that will come up with a set of rules. It makes sense. So it's in much science fiction, this sort of stuff. And I would say either this guy has gone dotty and he really doesn't know Mars from Uranus. Or in his case, his anus, or he's doing a Philip Corso and just writing a load of old rubbish because he thinks the book will generate enough interest that it'll put some money in the bank and get his grandchildren through college. I think that's what Corso actually admitted to in the end, wasn't it? He just wanted to sell enough copies to put his grandchildren through college, and the only way he could do that was by incorporating all that sort of Roswell claptrap. And of course, aliens aren't going to come here and liaise with Trump or the Americans and the Israelis. Can you imagine an alien species travelling across the galaxy and saying, well, the only two languages we know are a kind of English, I think you call it American, and Hebrew. If they're going to visit us, they would have been studying everybody for a very long time, and they're going to know what the languages are, and they're going to know who the major players are. Russia, China, America. They're not going to be interested in talking to Israel or the UK or Australia, where I live. We're just sort of small players. Small fry. They're not going to be interested in us. They might be. If they were interested at all, they're going to be interested in the big players. Whether they contact them on either stage, who knows? See, the trouble is we've got nothing to offer them. You've got to ask yourself. You've got a species that can travel around the galaxy on a willy-nilly basis. They want to come here and talk to us. Why? What would be in that for them? That's the big question, isn't it? What would be in that for them? We would have absolutely nothing whatsoever to offer them. And they certainly wouldn't want to be telling us about their technology. They're not going to want to tell us how their interstellar drive system works. They're not going to tell us if they've figured out how they've figured out to control gravity, so the ships can have artificial gravity inside them. And when they're travelling around inside a planet's gravitational field, how they use anti-gravity to fly around the planet. Couldn't use anti-gravity drive to fly through space, of course. You would have to use something completely different to do that. But these are the questions that the aliens will be asked. Probably the questions they would be asked in the order that they would be asked is, how did you get here? What sort of propulsion system do you use? Have you figured out how to control gravity? And where do you come from? And probably the question that should have been asked first, but will be in fact asked fourth, is why are you here? That would be the most important question you could be asking any alien, because from where I'm sitting, there would be nothing in the visit for them, nothing whatsoever. And for that reason and that reason alone, I think it's all science fiction claptrap. All right, well, just another take on that. If I can find the Paul Hellyer thing, I'll tack it on. If not, thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time. Okay, well, apparently there's no proof of a galactic federation yet. There's a nice picture there of some of the one of the representatives. When they do finally get to the Galactic Federation, that's what they're expecting to see. Some sort of drooling, spidery thing. And I suspect came from the imagination of Mr. Geiger, inventor of the famous counter, of course. The claim by Israel's 87-year-old former space security chief, Professor Blumham Ashed, said that Israeli and US governments have been communicating with the Galactic Federation. It's caused quite a stir. It's not the first claim of its kind. Similar ideas have been circulating for years. In 2011, former Canadian Defence Minister Paul Hellyer, remember he was Defence Minister in Canada between 1965 and 1967, I think we're talking a long time ago, announced that we were routinely visited by extraterrestrials, while former US Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Intelligence Christopher Mellon and US political insider John Podesta have both expressed their belief that non-human technologies exist on Earth. Well, because you hold a reasonable position in government or, in some sort of scientific establishment, doesn't mean that you're not gullible. These people can form these opinions. Having an opinion is one thing. Demonstrating your opinion is fact is something completely different. And not one of these people has yet managed to do that. These men have been privy to highly classified defence information and advanced military technology, so if they tell us that ETs are here, we should believe them. All right? Wrong, I would say. You show me some alien technology, show me some aliens, and we'll see. We should believe them, right? Well, no. Exactly. Their claims are powerful statements of faith, but not of fact. After years of talking to UFO witnesses and government insiders, I concluded that while people have always had inexplicable experiences, the belief that we're being visited by technologically superior alien beings is just that, a belief, shaped by our own human culture and experience. And that's exactly right. Because, science fiction stories abound. It doesn't matter whether they come from the sort of Ben Emlyn Jones, yellow vest-clad bin man, or whether they come from, people that are working in the space industry. It's like Gordon Cooper with his UFO yarn that turned out to be a story that he'd overheard, and then he claimed it for himself about the UFO landing at the Air Force Base. You cannot take what these people say as fact without proof, and there is no proof. If Eshad said that God made the earth in 7 days and that his son had superhero powers, he wouldn't make the news. But his Galactic Federation represents something incredibly appealing, ancient and futuristic, a powerful intersection of insider knowledge, technological speculation and religious optimism. Eshad and others of this new priesthood may absolutely believe what they are saying, but we shouldn't feel compelled to believe them. The sort of people that do believe them are the sort of people like Ben Emlyn Jones, that believe that there's two people on the face of the earth that believe the Queen of England is a shape-shifting lizard from outer space, and Ben Emlyn Jones is both of them. I don't think that even David Icke believes that nonsense. Belief colours even the most finely honed perceptions. The ET faithful will point to videos, photographs and case studies, all blurry of course, as evidence for their beliefs. Yet while superficially convincing, none of them represent proof of ET visitation. And that's exactly right. None of them. None of them represent proof of ET visitation. One person's metamorphosing cuboid spacecraft will be another's weather balloon, even if both people are Top Gun fighter pilots. Yeah, so I think that will do. But basically, it's a lot of science fiction rubbish is the bottom line. I would like to know if ET's coming here. I'd like to see some proof. I'm looking for proof. I've spent a long time looking for proof. I used to go and sit on the top of Cradle Hill back in the 70s with bloody Peter Paget. And I have never, ever seen any evidence of alien visitation. Not one scrap of evidence. All I see and hear are science fiction stories, hearsay, science fiction stories repeated as fact, And of course, they tend to snowball because people get interested in it, and then other people will repeat those stories as their own. And it's all rubbish. Show me a towel from a flying saucer. Show me an alien. Get an interview with an alien on 60 Minutes, and we'll see. Until then, it's science fiction hogwash. Thanks for watching, and maybe I'll catch you again.